Lesson is to teach you how to better answer short constructed responses for the future lessons in this course. We're going to use the RACES model, and the RACES stands for R for reword, A for answer, C for cite, E for explain, and S for summarize. This type of response answers the prompt, cites evidence from the question to support the answer, is one paragraph that is 7 to 11 strong, healthy sentences, and demonstrates general writing and grammar skills. Here's an example. We did ION's constructed response as a baseline to get you to see how to answer these questions, and it did not count against your grade. And I asked you to handwrite your answer and then upload your completed assignment. So the question was, atoms gain or lose valence electrons to become more stable. Metals lose electrons to form positively charged ions, and nonmetallic elements gain electrons to form negatively charged ions. How can you figure out charges of ions based on their position on the periodic table? Give at least 2 examples of elements and their ions, one metal and one nonmetal. There's a lot of information in this prompt, but you basically want to answer 2 questions. How can you figure out the charges? And give 2 examples. So make sure you at least do that. But do notice that these prompts give you a lot of other information that you need to use. So here's my response. And my handwriting is not the best, but it's what I asked for, so I want you to handwrite it. And here was the rubric that we were given to look at. And again, we have the words reword, answer, cite, explanation, sum up, but there's also a follows instruction piece that's worth 5 points that asks you to do the in-depth answer. You do the grammar here, you follow the instructions. So there's 10 points, 10 points, 10, 10, 5, and 5 for a total of 50. So these are significant assignments, and there's lots of ways to lose points, but also ways to gain points. So I'm going to show you that here. So let's start with reword. Down here it says this is the first part of your topic sentence. Reword the question. So the question is, the first one, how can you figure out charges of ions based on their position on the periodic table? So let's reword that. You can figure out charges of ions based on the atom's position on the periodic table. That's just rewording what I gave you up top, because the metals lose electrons and the nonmetals gain electrons. So it's a brief answer. It uses keywords from the question, and it's being talked about in the first sentence. So here are the keywords. Metals lose electrons, nonmetals gain electrons. So I reworded that and put it in the first sentence. So use as much as the prompt as you can and reword it, because it will show that you understand the question. The second part is to answer the question, and in this is the second part of your topic sentence, or your second sentence. Provide a general, simple answer to the question. So I did that here. The number of charges on the ion formed by a metal is equal to the group number of the metal and the number of charges on an ion formed by a nonmetal is equal to the group number minus 8. That's the answer in one sentence. So be succinct. So in the answer, you want to put that in the second sentence, and you want it to be a clear answer to the prompt. Just give a clear answer. For cite, you want to look back at the prompt and find a statement that supports your answer. So atoms gain or lose electrons to become more stable. So I just rewrote that. That's all you have to do. That's when you cite in the response from the prompt. The prompt often gives you lots of information. So your response uses plenty of relevant, specific, textual evidence. If there's more, you can use more, and there will be more as we go through. Explain. That's the big part of the answer. Explain how your statement or quote ties in with your answer. Don't force the reader to make the connection for you. Make it easy for your reader to understand your point. So I have here, atoms gain or lose electrons to become more stable. Here's my answer. Metals found in groups 1 and 2 lose electrons to form positive ions, and nonmetals in groups 5 to 7 gain electrons to form negatively charged ions. Group 1 metals, like lithium, this is where I give the examples here, lose that electron to form a positive ion. Group 2 metals, like magnesium, lose 2 electrons to form positive 2 ions. Nonmetals in group 5, like nitrogen, gain the electrons. It means it's 8 minus 5, gain 3 electrons. Nonmetals in group 6, like oxygen, gain 2 electrons, 8 minus 6. Nonmetals in group 7, like chlorine, gain 1 electron, 8 minus 7. So I gave lots more examples than what was asked for. So if it asks for 2, at least do 2, but you can always do more and should do more if you can. And this response here is the explanation. Your response clearly explains how the textual evidence supports the answer. So again, you're using a lot of what the prompt gives you. The last one is summarize. Write 1 or 2 sentences that summarize your overall answer. In conclusion, group 1 and 2 metals lose 1 or 2 electrons to become positive ions. In groups 5, 6, and 7 gain 1, 2, or 3 electrons to become negatively charged ions. Very simple, and I do put the word in conclusion there. You want a satisfying wrap-up conclusion in the final sentence. Say it. Don't let them guess this is the conclusion. Final sentence. Make sure they understand where the conclusion is. And then I also add this follows instructions, depth of focus, length, errors, 7 sentences, handwritten when requested. So if you lost points here, it's for one of those reasons. Either it wasn't handwritten, it wasn't long enough, or it just didn't focus very well. And my instructions to you were to handwrite and then upload your assignment. And in here, in the first part, 5 points, it says at least 7 sentences. So make sure you follow what the rubric says. So this rubric won't change. This is the one we'll use all year long. So make sure you follow it and take your time. These are worth 50 points, so they should take time. Chemistry constructed responses from now until the end of the year. These will start counting towards your overall grade. So take them seriously. All right, the end.